I'm Maggie Bekes-Amos and I work for the University of Namibia, but at the same time I serve at the ICT Steering Committee of the Ministry of Education, and I'm the Deputy Chairperson of the ICT Steering Committee, and at the very moment I am the Chairperson of the Local Organizing Committee for eLearning Africa, and so we've started already with some of the activities. And we have segmented the roles of the various subcommittees, and so each and every person knows where to go from here on. And we will then start with segmented task lists and checklists that can assist them in how to make eLearning Africa a success in Namibia.
I think Namibia has started out successfully for the mere reason that we have put the legislative framework in place. We had an ICT policy in education developed. We have also the plan for implementation developed, which was called TechNA. And the most appropriate and appreciated fact is that government has put money forward from their own resources to provide for the implementation of ICT in education. I think also in terms of our participation as the stakeholders, the private sector, in the international community that have supported the initiative so far, makes it very successful. Specific projects that we have done, for example, specifically, is in the field of e-learning, and why we at this conference of e-learning is also to show that example as well. Namibia has done very well with e-learning specifically as of 2006, and we are very grateful because we have some expertise now already in the field of e-learning as well. In terms of adapting our curriculum for our schools and our teachers, specifically for ICT's implementation, that has also been done. This is one of the successful stories. Now that we have paved the way, specifically in terms of our curriculum, we've got e-learning, we've got some content, and we continuously digitizing content for localization and to make it relative to our curriculum as well. Those are some of the implementations that is currently been successful so far. We have also been successful in the rollout of ICTs to our schools, which was basically done with government sources. Needless to say that other partners has also continued to assist us with the deployment. So we have schools with infrastructure. One of the best examples we have is that our telecommunications sector has also bought in. They are now, because of the high cost of bandwidth and connectivity, has given us a subsidized cost to our schools to basically to provide them that opportunity to also connect to the internet as well. So those are some of the examples that we have, which is very successful in our country. And I think also the other reason that we are successful is that we have created an ICT steering committee in Namibia, and it's from all walks of life, all the sectors as well. And I think the passion that we have for this project from the steering committee members, this makes it very successful.
The challenges that face Namibia are its vastness. It's a large country that gives problems in terms of rolling out power to all the corners of the country, to all the schools, to all the public institutions. Of course, we have burdens of solar energy that is untapped, but it goes with its expenses. We are making efforts between the institutions that are responsible for ICTs, like the Ministry of ICT, with the West Africa cable system that has come to the shores of Namibia. We have been able to establish 13 internet exchange points in all the 13 regional centers of our country. The challenge is now to roll that out to the 107 constituencies of the country and to the various schools. Those are the challenges, but those challenges can be turned into opportunities, because where there is a will, there is a way. We are in pursuit of turning those challenges into opportunities by coming together as entities responsible for ICT rollout, being the power utility in the country, the Ministry of ICT, the telecoms, the Ministry of Education, to discuss and see how we can harness our varied strengths, which by way of being not coordinated have become weaknesses, to make them strengths for moving forward with ICTs.
Well, currently the challenges we're experiencing in education in terms from a bandwidth perspective, which is what my company organizes or works on, is the cost of bandwidth, the big country that we have, the size of the country, not all areas are covered adequately. And so those things make e-learning and the spread of e-learning very difficult to do, because the ministry can only do so much. And so we look at partners. We've got a few partners like Telecom Namibia, which has come on board and subsidized connectivity for educational institutions. And we recently landed the West African cable on our shores. And so that should obviously, hopefully bring in better prices and stuff in the future.
The role that we are seeing ICTs should play in the Namibian classroom is to enhance teaching and learning, to enable our learners to learn in their own space and time, to reduce the workload of our teachers, and also to make sure that the content, localized content, is delivered to the learners and teachers on time.
Yeah, is that the teaching and learning is no longer confined to that of having the teacher in front of the learners, but learners can just do their own learning, actually by getting on it online and get information, and they do what they're supposed to do even in the absence of the teacher. And that will help a lot, especially when we are having a lot of programs. We do have workshops and so on, taking teachers out of the classes, so the disruptions will not be affecting learners to that extent, but learners will be doing a lot on their own. And that is the advantage that I have just seen here, that the teaching and learning will take place even in the absence of the teacher in the classroom.
No, I think it has really a positive impact, because right now when you look at like the social media and so on, we are very much into that. And it's also now we are even creating this citizen journalism, which means that people can now report. You know, sometimes like now us who are in the electronic media, we are even scooped by people. The news already comes out already on Facebook and Twitter. So things are changing for the better, because even people are creating their own news and things like that. And us at the NBC, we are launching our digitalization next week. We start with a technical switch on, so which means that we are really now starting to count down, because at least by 2013 we have to switch up from analog to digital. So things are really moving in the ICT sector in Namibia, and I think it's for the better.
The impact is significant throughout Africa, given the multitude of challenges that we are facing in virtually all regions of the continent. I think one of the most significant ones would be awareness raising still today of the new ICTs in education in particular. The second aspect I would think is knowledge generation, in Africa, combined with the collaborative effect on also looking at innovation. And you will find that a lot of innovation hubs are now currently developing. So the impact in that region is really something which we have to include as one of the most significant ones. In addition to that, we're looking at collaborative and smart partnerships. We have that South-North collaboration that starts a lot, with European software and hardware companies coming in and people with new ideas coming to Africa, and are trying to innovate it and implement it throughout the continent. So that's one of the most significant ones. Innovation is something which is underrated and not really touched on yet, because we have these existing fairly traditional structures. So we have to now look at them and how we can smoothly interchange and then replace them with the new ICTs.
Our specific expectations for eLearning Africa 2013 is that the whole world could come and converge in Namibia, share with us their experiences, and be prepared to also collaborate and give us the needed support, and that out of that generous attendance and sharing of experiences and expertise, we can inject our strengths, realize our strengths, and move forward, make a leap forward within the NDP4 mandate to really ensure that a good percentage of our schools are connected, they have access to ICTs, and we are able to transform our education system to a robust one that has a wider outreach to the rural schools and rural communities. We are not only, when you talk of e-learning, it's not only about schools. We have agricultural sector, we have the mining sector, we have the small and medium enterprises sector that predominantly is it has a large base of women and youth participation, and that is the expectation that this e-learning conference shall unleash our maximum potential in all these sectors, so that we can make good of our resources.
Well, what we have learned here is that the content is digitized, and the students don't just have to be in the classroom to study. They can study almost anywhere, whether they are home or just anywhere they can study. And the content is online, and it's mostly made into multimedia, and the multimedia can maximize the learning because almost any student, whether at the low level of giftedness or high level of giftedness, they can be able to get something from multimedia. We also have the impression that there is a collaboration, so students can collaborate with other students elsewhere in the world, and the content, most of the important thing that the content encourage creativity in students. In a nutshell, that's what we have picked up.